Guys, my name is Avery Nodland, and I am here to talk about my eating disorder and how it started, how I coped with it, and just pretty much how it has affected my life since it began. And so I'll discuss all of those things, and if anybody has any questions afterwards, they can definitely feel free to ask me. So I'll first start with talking about how my eating disorder started and what type it was. The type my eating disorder was anorexia. So and then I'll talk about now how it started. So it started when I was in the 5th grade, so I would have been 11 years old. I just really felt like I just wasn't really happy with my appearance. And I know that sounds crazy because what 11-year-old really cares about their appearance? But I did. I always was the type of person to, really care about how I looked, and I wanted to always present myself in the best way possible. And so back then, when I did look in the mirror, I thought that I was very overweight, and I didn't really look like the other little girls, or the girls my age at the time, looked. I was a little bit, heavier at the time, and I just thought that it was not normal for me to, look like that. So I wanted to be skinnier. I wanted to lose weight as fast as possible. So at school, at lunch, I would order the tray of food and I would bring it back to my table, and the only thing, if anything, that I would eat from my plate would be the fruit, because at the time I was at such a young age, I thought that fruit didn't make you gain any weight. So that's the only thing really that I would ever eat, would be the fruit. And then I'd come home and my mom would of course make dinner for my brother and I, and it came to the point where I had to actually hide my food in the other food that was on the plate. So say if I had, I was eating chicken and I had a little thing of rice, I would cut up my chicken and I would hide the little pieces of chicken inside the rice, so my mom wouldn't see that I wasn't eating. And when that progressed, my mom of course started catching on. I was losing so much weight at a really fast pace, and of course she's my mom, she's gonna notice those things about me. So she ended up noticing that I wasn't eating my food and that I was hiding it. So it did come to the point where she had to watch me eat all my food to make sure I was actually eating it and not just saying that I wasn't hungry or hiding it. And also my friends at school one of my friends at school's moms messaged or called my mom actually and told her that she thinks that, something's going on with me, because I was asking the other kids at the lunch table if I could have their fruit because I was so hungry and I wasn't eating. And like I said, that was the only thing that I would eat. So I would ask other kids at my lunch table for their fruit. Let's see. That was pretty much how it started. It started when I was at a really young age, and it was just a mental thing. I just wasn't really comfortable with how I looked, so I wanted to lose weight as fast as possible. How I coped with it, I actually saw a therapist for it because it got so out of hand and I would refuse to eat, and my mom, didn't want to see me like that, so she got me the help that I needed. I believe I went to 3 sessions, and how most therapy works, the first session is you kind of just tell them about your life, and they try to connect the dots of where something could have gone wrong or where you may have developed this mental disorder in your brain. So that's pretty much how I coped with it, and it just eventually started getting better. I started to eat again, and I just learned. Now I look back, at a young age, I didn't really think that anything was wrong with it. I thought it was normal at the time being, but now of course I look back at it and and it still does affect me today, every day. But I look back at it and it's really amazing how I didn't think that anything was wrong with just not eating at all. It's a terrible thing. So, but now, like I said, I just look back at it and I really realize how naive I was and just how young I was. I didn't really understand what was going on. But now I'll tell you how it affects my, day-to-day life, because it really truly does. I still go through periods where I won't eat at all because I'll feel like I'm a little overweight, or I'll feel overweight, or I'll look on the scale and see that I gained maybe less than 5 pounds, and I think it's a huge deal, which I know to most people sounds ridiculous, but to somebody with an eating disorder, it really affects them. They really start to believe that they're so overweight and I gained 2 pounds, but I feel like I'm gained 10. So it really does affect people that already have this mental disorder in their brain. And it really makes me aware of what I eat throughout the day, and if I'm eating too much, or if I feel like I'm eating too less. I mean, it affects my daily life all the time, because I always am very self-conscious, and especially in what I eat, because obviously that's what an eating disorder is. So I'm always aware of what I eat. I try to eat healthy, of course, and then I'll go through other periods where I will eat so much, and then I will look back a week later and think, wow, like I am really gonna punish myself now because I ate a loaf of bread. You know what I mean? So not literally, but it's just crazy how it can really affect the brain, and people that really live with it, I can say, coming from me who actually has a disorder, that it's a really terrible thing, and it's sad that it really is how you perceive yourself in many ways. So it is crazy, and no matter what anybody tells you, nothing will really make you feel any better. So yep, that is my life living with an eating disorder. Thankfully, it's not as bad as it once was, but it does affect my daily life, and I always try my hardest not to let it, but that's my life.